Good morning. Today is February 7th, Friday. Um, I am still in Sevilla. This is David Carta doing my blog on European business development. Today I had an interesting topic that came about simply because of what occurred yesterday. Um, Yesterday I had a number of things that I needed to get done in Sevilla. I had just a simple errand that I had to run. I had to get something shipped. And a few things occurred to me that I don't think about in the US that are real issues and real concerns in different countries. It's just harder to get things done. One of the first things that is really, I don't want to say incomprehensible, but it's hard to imagine coming from the United States, is the real dearth of parking that they have in big cities here. Um, I went to ship a small package from here to the United States, and there was a FedEx, UPS, it was actually a mailbox, etc. store that could ship using various carriers. What I didn't expect is that it would take me probably 5 minutes once I was there, maybe 10 minutes, just driving around trying to find a place to park. There was parking. There's so few real parking spaces available in cities, and often they're big underground parking lots depending where you are. I was in a small business business area, and there was nothing. I talked to the shop owner, and he said, when they build in Sevilla, they're more concerned with having more business office areas, and the idea of having sufficient parking really isn't an option. And of course, there are cases in the United States where you can't find parking, but wherever we've been in Europe, parking has just been much harder to find, harder to know where you can appropriately park. I've probably gotten 2 or 3 tickets just because I did something incorrect. Just didn't notice a sign, couldn't find the sign, and it makes things harder. So when you expect to just go to a store and park and do something there, unless it happens to have its own large parking lot, it's going to take you a lot of extra time, which just totally surprised me. The other thing that was really unique, and most of the time I'm sitting here in the house that we're working at. The shed that I work out of is in the back behind me here. So I'm a little bit isolated, but I've gone out a few times this week, and it's really incredible how much businesses shut down. So people take off between, it varies, but between 1 and 5. I went to a window store yesterday, and they shut down between 2 and 4:30. Another store shut down between 2:30 and 5. In the evening, there was an independent hair barber that we went to, and he said he works from about 9:30 till 2. Then he takes off for 2.5 hours till 4:30, and then he works from 4:30 until 8:39. So that is their typical work day. And in the middle of the day, he'd go home, he'd eat, have a nap, and get back to things. But when you come from the United States, you're thinking, well, everybody's open from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, something like that. But in different countries, and we don't think about it in the U.S., but in different countries, the local times are different. Spain, for instance, people show up late. They start 9 maybe. Um, they work until 2-ish, get 2.5 hours off, and then come back to work and work until late. And that is the custom here. Um, but if you're coming from a U.S. point of view and you're expecting to do things on a time that you're accustomed to, it doesn't work. So, and I saw similar things happening in other countries. When I was in Sweden, because it got so dark so late, people I found people starting late as well. But then they seem to cut off earlier, and I think it's just, and I think it's just because the time they have light is less, and they want to have opportunities to get at least a little bit of sunlight in their day. So, especially during the winter. So, my minor point today is expect things to be less efficient when you come to another country. One, because in America we seem to value efficiency, and that's something that companies strive for. But also, you have things like these long lunch times that are going to hamper your efficiency because you're expecting something else. And to most effectively work with these other cultures, you need to make sure that you are able to work alongside them in building those, in working with their culture and how they work, so that you can grow your business in Europe. It's probably a little bit long, but it was an interesting example that caused me a little bit of consternation yesterday. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.